Hello, hello, Facebook fam and YouTube family. This is your girl Stephanie, aka Demon Posture Sapapa, and I'm here to just kind of get the daily energy today to see what messages Spirit would like to bring to us today. As you see, I already have cards out. I did start the video before, um, and initially I just wanted to pull the some cards from the Egyptian Thru. Um, excuse me, and also cards from my yogic path. But I was going to pull the cards and then read each of the meanings, but it's going to take too much time to read all of the meanings, especially when it comes to the Egyptian pantheon, the Nibiru. So I just decided to read through the messages and then come together. And maybe I'll read the messages from these because they're not as long as the other ones. But it's very interesting, the cards that we have here. So we have prana and ra for the energy for today, and the underlying energy that's bringing about this center energy is Geb and Anahata. Okay, so let's just start with the underlying energy, which is the bottom of the deck energy. We have we have Geb and Anata. And again, and Anahata represents the heart chakra, as you see the green. And Geb, if you're familiar with the Nibiru, he's green and he represents earth. Okay? And so, interestingly enough, when I was reading about Geb, it spoke about how Geb's interaction with Nut, which is the starry sky. You can kind of see her, you know, above him. And then with the phallic symbol, he's been separated from Nut by Shu, which is air, as he falls to earth and creates, balls up into a little ball, and that's how earth is created. And it is saying that the creation act between Geb and Nut is what created the sun, or allowed the sun to be made manifest in earth, which is basically just the spirit of Sirius, the planet Sirius, and the cosmos within Nut, because Nut represents the cosmos. It allowed that main sun source energy of Sirius to be able to be made manifest on Earth as the physical sun. Okay? And so when it comes to the center energies here, we have Ra and Prana. Prana is life force energy. And we know that Ra is, again, that sun energy from Sirius, made manifest on Earth. And of course, we need life force energy to be able to animate. That life force energy is what animates the human being, so. And underneath the Geb card, I saw the Sobek card. Sobek is like the crocodile god. And one of the things that stood out in regards to Sobek is he's the one that took up, or he represents spiritual revolution, right? Let me see. So he represents spiritual revolution. So what I'm getting from this reading is today we need to focus on our heart center. Our heart center is where we cultivate life force. Our heart center, when we do everything with intention and from the heart, it puts behind our work the great power of the divine, the great power of that creative force that will help us to manifest our goals and our dreams, which is, one of the main principles of Geb here, Father Earth, is to bring about, the physical manifestation. I feel like this is a respect to both the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies within. As if you look at the Raw card, you have the sun and you have the moon. Okay. It is said that the right eye of Ra is the sun, and the left eye of Ra is the moon. And of course, again, that's the duality of the divine masculine and divine feminine coming together. Again, here, this is representing the divine masculine and feminine. Again, if Geb did not, procreate with the feminine energy Nu to birth the sun on earth, there wouldn't be any creation. So it's about that respect between those two energies. And interestingly enough, I pulled out the cards, and I had Geb here, and right underneath it was Sobek, which is, again, the crocodile god. And then here in the book I have Geb, and immediately after Geb is Sobek. Sobek is he who reunites. And also his name means to make pregnant. Okay. So Sobek is described by he is thought to unite the elements separated by Set, and to restore life to the elements dispersed by death. It may be that his powers of bringing together the separate parts was a reflection of Neith, the greater Reaver goddess who was his mother. In the Book of the Dead, he helped in the rebirth of Heru and assisted the dead by giving them sight. Alright? Assisted the dead, the sleep people, that, here are, they're alive, but consciously they are asleep. Assisted the dead by giving them sight, by opening the doors of heaven and leading them along the treacherous byways so they, like Heru, may be born into new life. There was something else that was said here. Okay. Sobek, it says the destructive power of Sobek was seen to be a necessary element in the process of transformation. And that's definitely what we're going through right now. Spirit is wanting us to see the balance in things that, destruction was seen as necessary in transformation. It says the primal primeval power he personified was destructive only to those who were enmeshed in the material trappings of the external. Remember, as I was saying, those sleep people, they're alive, but their consciousness is still, you know, um, it's dead. It still is sleeping. That's why Sobek represents, you know, a spiritual revolution. I feel like that is what's going on Earth right now, a spiritual revolution. And Ra, for me, equates to the Kundalini. You know, there's a Kundalini rising within humanity. Here, as you know, in the story of Ra and Isis, you know, it is said that, you know, old age began to overtake Ra, and he was becoming old. You know, he was dribbling upon himself, and Aset took his spit, mixed it with earth, and made a magical snake. And then that snake bit him. And it says its poison burned fire through his body. And a lot of times the Kundalini is related to a fire that goes up the spine to awaken you, to bring one to enlightenment. You know, and so that took Ra through, you know, kind of a dark night of the soul, which I feel like we are going through, because we're all sons of the sun. You know, we are, we all have that God force energy within us, that sun within us, and that consciousness that needs to rise to enlightenment. Okay, because it says here, to the Egyptians, the act of naming was a sacred act because it called a principle into existence. The son of Ra, the son of the sun, right? When a pharaoh was named the son of Ra, he was given divine power to rule. He was infused with the consciousness of the sun god, right? So that's just that consciousness within us awakening. So the snake bit him, and it was her power, Aset. It was her power, her incantations, her that destroyed disease, you know. And she said, you know, I will tell me thy name before she would heal him. And so that's just us going through that dying of the ego, surrendering that ego, that go, the push, the do, to the feminine aspect of receptivity, you know. Just bringing about that balance, which is, you know, I feel again correlating to what's happening on the earth plane now. You know, the patriarchy is beginning to have to, it's falling apart, and it is leading to the divine feminine energy, you know, of love, you know, of that prana, that life. The feminine energy is that life force energy that animates the spirit, that animates, you know, things to be able to move and to act, that inspiration, that motivation. You can't, you know, continue to not give that energy respect as well. As it says here, again, when we speak of religious revolution, this is, as according to this book here, it says the whole religious philosophy is based on the teachings and priesthood of Ra. And they're saying, it says it was the royal way of the Egyptian magic, the direct way through the sun, Ra, to enlightenment. Just like in the Christian, it says the only way you can get to God is through the Son, Jesus. Here it says, this was the royal way of Egyptian magic, the direct way through the sun, Ra, to enlightenment. Okay, so this is, for one, I feel like guiding earth and humanity to the true origins of religion, for one, but also in doing so, opening them up to the deeper consciousness of spirituality, to go deeper, not just experience spirituality on a surface level, which is, I always, since I began my journey spiritually, look at that. We have the Six of Wands, which is victory, and the Sun, the Ra card. So this is, this is how we're going to achieve victory, through going through this spiritual revolution. As you see the butterfly rising up. Remember, in the last reading, I think I mentioned how this prana card has this butterfly, this transformation that is the Kundalini arising within the body, going from that base chakra, that root chakra, all the way up to the crown chakra, that third eye, through the third eye and to the crown chakra. Those upper levels of the chakras is the heart, and then it's the third eye, and then it's the crown chakra. And then remember, we have the heart chakra here, coming through, represented twice, with also the Geb here. But this is a spiritual revolution that is going on at this time, an awakening. So, I don't know if any of that made sense, you guys. Like I said, I began reading on this morning, and there's so much more information that I want to share, or could share in that, but time is limited on these cameras. They'll record, and after like 30 minutes it'll stop, and then I'll have to do all this editing and stuff. I'm not at that level yet. But yeah, so I hope you guys were able to get something from all that that I just divulged. I hope that made sense. But look at that, the Hierophant card. The Hierophant, and it's the key. There's a key on there, key to enlightenment. The Raven is a protective energy. Spirit is wanting. And then again, the Hierophant, this represents the church, large institutions. And then we have the lightning, this upheaval, this shocking news, this, sudden change. Exactly. The Kundalini arising, right? The Kundalini, that fire, that sacred fire arising within humanity, within the earth. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Alright, so there's a spiritual revolution going on in the earth plane here, which is bringing about a passionate new beginning, which is bringing about an abundance here. A passionate new beginning with the Ace of Wands, and then, bringing about that an abundance here, with the Empress. And then here we go again with duality. We have all the sun energy, and then we have that cooling energy of the earth, that cooling feminine energy. We have the powerful masculine energy, and then that calming, soothing feminine energy, that balance. The balance, okay? So, again, the spiritual revolution, awakening of the Kundalini, that fire, is bringing about a balance and an abundance of knowledge that is helping, that will help humanity to overcome indecision, which is going to help humanity to get our hearts and our minds on one accord. And overcoming this lack of faith that we have been operating in, helping us to overcome this darkness that we've been operating in, so that we can lift our heads to the light, to the sun. And then we have the sun. Remember, we have the sun in this card too. Overcoming that indecision, seeking truth, seeking enlightenment. And then here we come to the Judgment card, answering the call and ascending to the light, ascending to enlightenment. This is transformation. This is ascending to the next level. The energy of Mother Gaia is elevating beyond the mental conflict, and removing into our destiny. Okay, Mother Earth is moving into her destiny. So we're being called to have faith, and to take that leap of faith, to do the study and research that we need to do, so that we can master not only this avatar state, but bring the whole planet to a state of stability. Here go Father of Pentacles, which I would say is, this Geb energy, because the Father of Pentacles is the king of Pentacles, the king of coins, and that the Pentacle energy represents earth energy. It's the element of earth, which is, what Geb is, what he represents. This is Father Earth. So, and look at that, with all the chakras going here, this Kundalini energy, as above, so below. As you see with his antlers, the chakra colors are reversed. So, this is as above coming down. That spiritual revolution, that enlightenment, right? That Kundalini goes from the bottom up, the red to the purples, and this is going from the reds to the purples this way. As above, so below. That spiritual energy is merging onto within humanity, putting us into this energy of the Eight of Cups, walking away from that old way, walking away from the old ways of religion into enlightenment. Look at this. This is the Nine of Pentacles. This represents self-mastery, self-consciousness. The Son of Pentacles. That's that Christ consciousness being awakened within each and every human being. Bringing about that clarity here with the Daughter of Swords. That clarity of spirituality. That clarity and that awakening of our ancestors perhaps around us, protecting us in this darkness as we make our way to the light. Okay, look at that. Bottom of the deck, the Highest Priestess. That feminine energy, again, that feminine power. So that is what I have for you guys today. Again, I hope that made sense. Wow, look at that. You see where I put that? And then we have here counterparts, the Hierophant. The Hierophant could be considered the High Priest along with the High Priestess. Look at that. Beautiful. And underneath the High Priestess, we have the Sun card. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy, you guys. This is a very powerful reading. Hope you guys are able to receive something from it. And until next time, I love you all. Peace.